Hello, fellow business owners. Today we're going to discuss a handful of both free and paid tools I highly recommend that all businesses use to help organize and implement their social media campaigns, strategies, all the good stuff. These are tools I personally have used and loved for years and years and continue to use to help support my social media clients and my social media agency. So without further ado, let's hop on into the tools in no particular order. So first things first, a tool I use literally every day and have used for probably maybe 7+ years. I honestly don't even remember at this point, is Canva. Canva is such a great tool and I don't know what I would do without it, to be completely honest with you. I feel like I've always kind of described it to folks as Photoshop for dummies. It is such an easy but really effective tool that anyone could use to make or edit graphics and videos. There are tons of templates to choose from, and it just makes my life so much easier when I have to make graphics and videos for clients. And the best part is, in my opinion, is it's really easy to duplicate designs. So if you want to use the same template over and over, sorry, I lost my words there. If you want to use the same template over and over, it's super easy to copy your design and then just go in and copy and paste the new text in. So your graphics will have a consistent vibe, but of course just have different verbiage depending on what you need. You could also type in a lot of keywords to easily find the graphic or the template you want. For example, if you want to make a Valentine's Day graphic, in the little search bar, just type Valentine's Day in, and tons of different options will come up. And then of course you could just add, the colors and fonts that you like, your logo, all that kind of good stuff. And then you could easily resize the designs to fit the social platform that you need it for. So whether that be a Facebook dimension, an Instagram dimension, or even like a PowerPoint or a flyer or something like that, highly recommend incorporating Canva. You will not be disappointed. And then another tool I use constantly, and I have for years and years, is Trello. Trello is basically kind of like I'm thinking of how to describe it in the simplest terms, but it's basically like a to-do list that you can share with your team. So basically how I use Trello for myself and my employees right now is everyone has their own list with their name, and then you could also easily move tasks over from list to list. So if one team member starts with a task and they realize they need support from another team member, they could easily move that task over to their list without having to go out and type it again and all that kind of stuff. So it just saves a bit of time there. So basically, again, all my employees have their own list and their own columns, and then we have a done column. So basically when the tasks are complete, they move it over to the done section, and then I can look over it, make sure everything's okay, edit it if it needs editing, if it's perfect, leave as is, and then send it over to the clients. And then I have my own internal list I use for just myself with the stuff I have to do every day. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I label my boards A, B, C, D, etc. So basically what that means is I'll do A tasks first, B tasks second, etc. Or you could even use Trello to organize social media content. So you could have different boards depending on the week, the month, whatever you really choose to do. It's definitely your call. That is just an activity or a layout that works for me. And then another tool I absolutely love is Google Drive. So about 90% of my client work is stored in Google Drive, and I love it. I use Google, the Excel spreadsheet style. I'm losing my thoughts again. I use the Excel template in Google Drive to make stats reports for clients. So basically it'll have all the key info, such as, the dates, the followers, impressions, likes, all that kind of stuff. So that way it's super easy to see how you're growing, over a time period, and you're not guessing and trying to remember how many followers you've gotten over the past week or the past month. Is clearly all there right now for you. Again, that's an activity I do for clients, but if you'd rather do it yourself, that's totally fine. And then I also use basic Google Sheets to store content calendars. So what I do is I make a chart and I just give it columns and labels with the date, the media, the caption, and the approval. So that way clients can easily go in and approve content if they do wish to approve it. Some do, some don't, it's personal preference. But again, if you'd rather manage your social media on your own, you can definitely incorporate the same strategy that I use and just keep all your content in a very easy table. So that way when it's time to go and update on your main feed, you just go copy, paste, put it into the app or a scheduling platform, and the rest just takes care of itself. Which brings me to the next platform I recommend, which I know this is a bit vague, but it's really any scheduling platform of your choice. Honestly, if you just go into Google right now and Google social media scheduling content, I can't even begin to imagine or explain how many really good tools are out there in all different price points. Some are really very reasonable, like $5-10 a month, and some are a bit more pricey. It could be even $100 a month. It honestly depends like what your specific needs are. So for example, if you have a really big team and you want every team member to have their own login, or if you have dozens of social channels to connect, it'll be a bit more. You're just a 1 or 2 person show with just 1 or 2, maybe 3 channels, it really is a lot more affordable. Again, I'd recommend just hopping on into Google and typing in social media scheduling channels and see which one fits your needs and your budget. And a few that I personally use day in and day out are Buffer, Publer, and Later, and Hootsuite. Again, personal preferences. You could do your own research and see which one is best for you. Buffer is a really good one if budgeting is something you want to be mindful of, because it is super affordable. So yeah, basically when you schedule content, you could more or less, if you would like, schedule content for a day, a week, a month, a year, so everything is all done and set for you. I personally love scheduling everything as opposed to posting live, within reason, basically just because you get it out of the way and you don't have to worry about waking up every day and posting your content and remembering to post your content. So I know that could be a little frustrating. You could just sit down one evening and schedule everything you need for the next, 1 to 3 weeks. So that way, it's done and you don't have to worry about it. It's especially useful if you do prefer to schedule your content at a very specific time. For example, if according to your analytics, your audience is really active at 6 a.m. your time zone, you don't want to have to worry about waking up every morning at 6 and scheduling everything or publishing it live. It's done and ready to go. So I really like that. And the last tool I want to talk about is iMovie. I really like iMovie. I think I've used it for maybe 10 years now. It's actually how I'm editing this video for you all. There are really great video editing platforms out there that cost some are more expensive, some are more affordable. I really like iMovie because it's free and it's really, really easy to use. You basically just upload your video file in there, which I'll be doing right after I finish filming this video, and then just editing everything, chopping it up, adding transitions. You can add voiceovers. If you play around with it, you'll see it's really pretty straightforward. I think to get really good at iMovie, it maybe took me a month tops. And now I feel very comfortable at it, and I recommend it to all of my friends and clients. So again, if you are managing your social media, if you're a company right now on your own, these are some of the best tools out there in my opinion. And of course, if you have any questions or you'd like your social media outsourced to an agency such as J. Baker Media, feel free to reach out anytime for a free consultation and we can figure out what option works best for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everybody.